Hey everybody, welcome to the channel or welcome back. Whether you post your work for free public consumption or share it in private hoping to one day sell a published copy, feedback is an inescapable part of the writing process. But giving or getting it is just as much a learned and practiced skill as writing itself. So in this video, we're going through 15 tips for handling feedback. And even if you think you already know how to handle it, I suggest you watch the whole video. Because, speaking from experience, sometimes we overestimate what we know. These points are a consolidation of guidelines we've seen around the internet, advice we've seen circulated through different writing groups we've been part of, as well as our own experiences with giving and receiving feedback. Let's get into it. We'll start with how to give because it's just as important for writers to know this as it is for those who are readers exclusively. This is because all writing groups are based on a system of give and take. If you want others to give of their time and energy to help you improve your writing, you need to be willing to do the same for them. And if we all know how to do it well, then we'll be better able to help one another. So, 1. Be self-aware. Be aware of your biases toward or against genres, tropes, archetypes, sensitive topics, etc. And if necessary, be upfront with the author about how your preferences may impact your feedback. Or, as I saw it eloquently put, if you have a personal dislike for characters with red hair, the word stupendous, or rainy scenes, keep it to yourself. There's a difference between pet peeves based on technical mistakes and pet peeves that are specific only to us. 2. Be considerate. Often writers will leave the floor open to any critique, but if someone has specified what kind of feedback they're looking for, gentle versus no holds barred, basic versus in-depth, positive versus negative, follow their request. Newer writers or those struggling with mental health or motivation may need a softer approach. And if they're being mature enough to ask for what they need, we should be mature enough to give it. Also, if an author is requesting feedback on something particular, stay focused on that aspect. Don't overwhelm them with grammar corrections if they asked for an overview of their main character. They may be well aware of other problems and planning to fix them later, so focusing on that will just be wasting your time and theirs. 3. Be constructive. Offer feedback with the intention of building up the author. Be tactfully honest, and if you can, offer suggestions for improvement or resources where the author can learn more. Also, follow the sandwich method. Start with a positive, end with a positive. And trust me, even in the most badly written works, there's always a positive. Whether you enjoyed the premise, some comedic banter, an aspect of the world building, or a particular character, be sure to let the author know when they got something right. 4. Be specific. Vague feedback is not helpful. Tell the author what and where the problems are, as well as, if you can articulate it, why they are problems. Also be specific about the positive aspects so they can know exactly what is working. 5. Be generous. The more insight you can give a writer into how you perceived their work, the better. Ask questions. Be open about what you liked and disliked, how different characters come off to you, whether world building or characters' motivations made sense to you, how different scenes made you feel, etc. 6. Be respectful. If someone has explicitly stated they do not want critique, move on. That's just basic etiquette. If it's unclear whether someone would like critique or not, it's best to ask before giving it. If they say no, you've saved yourself the time and effort. Under no circumstances is it ever appropriate to belittle or insult an author on a personal level because of mistakes in their writing. That's not critique, that's just being a jerk. In situations where you believe that someone's writing is harmful, the best you can do is draw their attention to it and encourage them to educate themselves by offering resources where they can get started. Maybe warn others to steer clear of that work. But berating the ignorant is unlikely to get them to reflect and change, so it's not worth it. 7. Be realistic. Don't expect the author to make changes to their work based on everything or even anything you said. What may seem like a mistake to you could be intentional, or the author may not correct issues within that work, but they will carry forward what they learned into their future work. Or maybe they won't listen to and learn from your feedback at all. That's out of your control. Also, if you left a critique without determining whether it was wanted first, don't expect gratitude. Unfortunately, there are some authors who don't ever appreciate hearing anything negative, regardless of how constructive the overall critique is. And it's so frustrating to us to see such people turn around and confidently give out writing advice on their platforms as if they're an authority. In our opinion, they have not earned it. Every teacher must be a student also. Someone who's not willing to learn from others is not equipped to teach others. Which brings us to how to receive critique. As I alluded to at the beginning, I used to think that responding well to feedback would come easily. After all, I was asking for it, so I was prepared for it, right? Boy, was I wrong. 1. Brace yourself. If you've privately shared or publicly posted your work and asked for feedback, or let's be honest, even if you haven't, expect to receive criticism. Remember that although it can hurt to hear negatives about your work, it's necessary for improvement. 2. Be resilient. Separate your sense of self from your work. Bad writing does not cement you as a bad writer. Everyone starts off badly. Don't let your mistakes deter you. Strive for improvement. Set goals for yourself and celebrate your progress as you continue learning and keep on writing. Also, if someone is criticizing you personally rather than critiquing your work, please know that it says more about them than it does about you. Ignore them, block them if necessary, and move on. Easier said than done, I know. For the rest, 3. Be realistic. The general public is both the best and worst source for useful feedback. Most people are not able to effectively critique, which is to say, they may not balance their negative points with positive ones, or they may present their subjective preferences as objective assessments, or they may not be able to adequately explain a problem they have found and offer only vague vibes, etc. But they are representative of your audience, so the first step after receiving feedback is 4. Sit with it. Take some time to get through the initial emotions, to appreciate the compliments and process the criticisms, and then decide which points are useful and how you will implement what is useful, whether that is building on something that is working or changing something that is not working. To do this, you need to 5. Be discerning. Just because someone compliments something does not guarantee its quality. Sure, your character may be funny, but perhaps some of their jokes are insensitive. On the flip side, just because someone criticizes something doesn't mean it's a problem. Someone may complain that your story has too much political drama, but if you were aiming to write a political drama, then what they frame as a negative is actually a positive. Or someone may be critical because the narrative doesn't explore the magic system enough, but if you are intentionally creating a soft magic system, then there's an extent where it needs to remain mysterious. So, 6. Look for repeated points. Someone might miss a subtle issue that other readers will pick up on, or someone may have misinterpreted a section which was clear to other readers. Someone may be biased toward or against a particular trope or archetype you used, which blinds them to the problem or the purpose behind its inclusion. Someone may be simply projecting their preferences onto your story, trying to help shape it into something they want to read rather than what you want to tell. Thus, you should be careful about making changes to your story based on only one person's feedback. Unless, of course, you agree with them. Otherwise, it's best to get feedback from as many people as possible and pay attention to points that repeat across those various perspectives. If more than one person mentions getting annoyed at your protagonist or skimming over feeling bored through a particular section, then it likely needs some editing. 7. Do not explain. As tempting as it is, don't respond to feedback to clear up misunderstandings or answer questions about your story. You should not be trying to educate the person giving you feedback, you should be looking for insight into how your audience is processing your work. If someone gets the wrong impression of your character, you just learned you may need to better showcase their core characterization. If someone is asking questions that you want your audience to be asking at that juncture, then consider it a win and let them keep wondering. Of course, you can respond to feedback to ask clarifying questions or invite them to share further insights. Or you may need to explain something if you are working with a developmental editor so they can help you determine whether you are successfully executing your plan or not. But otherwise, just 8. Show appreciation. Receiving critique is an unavoidable and necessary part of being a writer. And it can be difficult to find people who will bother to read, let alone respond to your work. So even if someone's critique is a little rough around the edges, if you find value in it, thank them for caring enough and taking the time and effort to give you feedback. And that's all we have. If you know of any other worthwhile tips on giving or getting feedback, please share them in the comments. On that note, honestly, the more I learn about being a writer, the more I realize what a collaborative process it is. The stereotypical image of a writer is someone crafting their work in isolation, and certainly it can feel that way. But the truth is that all writing is based on interaction, the sharing of thought, living and learning together. That's what this video is. That's what researching is. That's what publishing is. That's what feedback is. So if you disagree with any of the points we brought up, please respectfully let us know in the comments. Or let us know if we shared some advice that you needed to hear. Number 7 is one I wish I had learned earlier. If you liked the video, be sure to share it with your friends, spread it around on writing groups and reading forums. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to help support the channel, you can give via Super Thanks or on Patreon. We offer early releases on most videos, as well as a bunch of exclusive content. And since I know it's something I like to have, I've also made the information from this video available in a free post on Patreon. Yes, free. So you can easily reference these points at any time for a quick refresher. Anyway, stay loud and proud, folks, and I'll see you around. We're going to do this, and we're going to do well, and we're going to be happy, and I'm lying to myself. Whether you post your work for free public consumption, but giving or getting it is just as much a learned and practiced. Today's gonna be a great day. We're gonna have so much fun. So in this video, we're going through 15. I don't have 15 fingers, so I can't do a number. So I will not hold my fingers up as if there's 15 of them. So in this video, we're going through 15 facts. Often writers will leave the floor open to any headphone warning? Sorry? Newer writers or those strentling because it's struggling plus mental health. It's strentling. Put one hand out, then you put a bunch of stuff on it, and then you put the other hand on top, and what do you got? A sandwich. Separate your salsa. Separate your salsa. You got the tomatoes over here and the onions and the jalapenos and the... Or someone may be critical because the narrative doesn't explore the narrative. The narrative doesn't explore the narrative. Or someone may be critical because the narrative doesn't explore. I'm not gonna say if you find any value in it, because then it might be like, oh, well, yeah, they just insulted me for a whole paragraph, but at the end they pointed out that my character's motivations are unclear. We're not talking put up with insults here, we're talking they were mostly negative, they only threw like one positive in there, but like, you know, and they didn't like, weren't super helpful, like it was kind of like, oh, your character's motivations are unclear. And it's like, well, how are they unclear, right? But it's like, okay, well, that's something that I can look at, even if, you know, it's going to be more difficult than if they were like, oh, your character's motivations are unclear because here they did this and it resulted in X, but here they did that and it resulted in Y, which was contrary to X. And so then, like, you know, so bye.